So the Dallas Cowboys just made a controversial and huge decision that honestly might end up in them trading away one of their all-pro players. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Mauricio Rodriguez here at A to Z Sports Dallas. Hey, since we cover America's team, we got to deal with some drama just about every week. And this is nothing to do with Micah Parsons' negotiations, nothing to do with Donovan Eziraku's new deal as a second-round draft pick, but rather with an all-pro player that they have over on defense, Trevon Diggs. For those of you who missed it, last week, the Cowboys enforced a salary de-escalator that knocks down Diggs' salary by $500,000. That's right, $500,000 gone forever. They didn't have to enforce it, but they did. So that's a message. That tells you everything about this thing. The Cowboys didn't care about, taking care of the relationship with one of their quote unquote best players. And I use quotation marks because they are definitely not treating him like such. And that's been controversial, but I'll get to that in a second. The point is the Cowboys knocked down Diggs' salary, $500,000. The reason why, there was a clause in his contract which gave them the right to do so, not obligation, right, if Diggs didn't participate in at least 84% of the Cowboys offseason program. Now, as most of you know, Trevon Diggs spent his offseason rehabbing in Miami away from team facilities. And the Cowboys did not like that one bit. Now, I should remind you that earlier this year, Jerry Jones openly criticized Trevon Diggs' way of rehabbing the year before. So Jerry Jones had a problem with how Trevon Diggs had gone about his rehab in 2024, and now clearly again in 2025. And by the way, I do not think it is a coincidence that we've seen Trevon Diggs release a YouTube documentary about his rehab after the news of the salary de-escalator. He posted that there is one more video on the way, and the title of that video is "The Truth Behind My Injury." So as you can see, they're kind of exchanging some punches through the media. Now, we'll get into the possibility of a trade of Trevon Diggs, but make sure you stick around because later we're going to get into why this is controversial and who is in the right and who is in the wrong. Honestly, I think the trade could make sense if the Cowboys get off to a bad, slow start in 2025. Which, let's face it, is a possibility. I'm not predicting the Cowboys will be done by the trade deadline, but there is a possibility that we're not a fan of their record, and the second half of the season is a gauntlet. So say the Cowboys get to the trade deadline with a losing record. They could be sellers because they will face one of the toughest stretches in NFL history. In that stretch, they're going to face 6 teams that won at least 11 games last year. They could be sellers. They could. And Trevon Diggs with a $12 million potential cap saving number in 2026 could make sense as a cut then. So why not get something in return for a cornerback that can start in the NFL? A team like the Green Bay Packers, for example, would probably be interested if they are in contention at that point of the year. It's clear by now that tensions between the Cowboys and Trevon Diggs exist, and they're not looking like they're going to get any better anytime soon. So if you ask me, either this is the last year that Trevon Diggs plays for the Cowboys before he heads to another team in 2026, or he gets traded before this season is over. I don't see a future for these two. Now, who is on the wrong and who is in the right, I honestly don't know. But before you take the popular route by fans, which is knock the player and viva the team, consider this. When the NFLPA published its report cards for every NFL franchise, the Cowboys were among the very worst teams in the NFL in the categories training staff and training room. The Cowboys players accused the Cowboys of being understaffed. So suddenly, Trevon Diggs rehabbing away from the team doesn't necessarily sound like a problem to me. But who knows? The argument could also exist that Trevon Diggs is not locked in, that Trevon Diggs is not focused. So, hey, the reality is we don't have enough information, but I do want to get that out there because there's an argument for Trevon Diggs here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll make sure to read you.